Welcome, wanderer, to the world of Fallout. Tonight, I'll be your quiet companion in the Commonwealth. As I play Fallout 4, I'll whisper to you the history, the secrets, and the hidden stories of this world. You can close your eyes or watch the screen. Either way, let the sounds of the wasteland and my voice guide you. Fallout's world is one where the future and the past collided. Imagine a society stuck in the 1950s, jukebox music, chrome cars, and smiling ads, but with advanced technology, nuclear power in everything, robots serving homes, laser weapons on battlefields. And then, in the year 2077, it all ended. The Great War, lasting just 2 hours, unleashed thousands of nuclear bombs across the globe. Nations vanished in fire, cities burned to ash, and the lucky few, or perhaps the unlucky few, hid underground. The Fallout universe split from our own history, sometime after World War II. While we moved toward digital tech and microchips, Fallout's timeline stayed rooted in atomic power and giant machinery. Instead of smartphones, they had Pip-Boys strapped to their wrists. Instead of clean energy, they built nuclear cars and nuclear toasters. The optimism of the atomic age never faded until it destroyed them. The US became a superpower, fueled by dwindling resources. Conflict over oil and uranium led to global wars. By 2077, the pressure exploded. Nuclear sirens screamed, bombs fell, and the world was swallowed in a storm of radiation and fire. Civilization ended, but not quite. Humanity clung to life in the shadows of the old world. And so, before the war, a company called Vault-Tec promised safety. Giant underground shelters, called vaults, were advertised as a refuge for families, a chance to survive the apocalypse. But Vault-Tec had secrets. Most vaults were not built to save people. They were designed as experiments. One vault might test psychological pressure, another forced its dwellers to obey a tyrant, another locked one man alone with puppets. Each vault was a cruel social study. Only a handful were genuine sanctuaries. Ours, Vault 111, was not one of them. As the bombs fell, our character, known as the sole survivor, was rushed into Vault 111 with their spouse and their infant son, Sean. Smiling Vault-Tec staff promised safety, but instead of life underground, we were sealed in cryogenic pods, frozen in time. We don't know how long passed, decades, maybe centuries, until, through the frosted glass, strangers appeared. Raiders, scientists. Someone opened the pod, killed our spouse, and stole our child. Then, silence. We were frozen once more. Eventually, the systems failed, and we woke alone. Everyone else in Vault 111 was dead. Our journey begins not as a survivor of war, but as a survivor of a cruel experiment. When the vault door groans open, we step into a new world. The sky is clouded with radiation storms. The familiar streets of Sanctuary Hills are broken, abandoned, haunted by silence. 200 years have passed. Our neighborhood is just bones of wood and rust. The only familiar voice is Codsworth, our household robot. He still waits for us, loyal, confused, unchanged by time. Sanctuary is more than a ruined suburb. It is a memory. Here, before the war, families lived in peace. White picket fences, neat lawns, old cars humming in the driveways. Now, it is ash and ruin. Fallout is full of places like this, echoes of a world that no longer exists. A child's toy still lying in the dirt, a skeleton curled in a bed, a newspaper yellowed with 2 centuries of dust, still screaming headlines of war. These ruins remind us humanity once dreamed of progress, and yet, in one moment of fire, they lost it all. This is where our story begins. From Sanctuary, we will wander into the wider Commonwealth. We will meet factions who fight for control: the Minutemen, the Brotherhood, the Railroad, and the Institute. The path to Concord winds through broken streets, rusted cars, and skeletal trees. Every ruin we pass carries a story. Some homes remain, but only as shells. Once, families lived here, listening to radios and eating TV dinners. Now, it's only dust. Fallout's world is full of contrasts like this. Everyday objects, a coffee cup, a pair of glasses, still lie scattered, frozen in time, while outside, raiders and mutants roam. And yet, nature slowly returns. Trees claw through concrete, weeds swallow roads. Civilization falls, but the earth endures. As we reach Concord, we hear gunfire. Raiders have cornered a small group of survivors. Among them is Preston Garvey, the last officer of a once proud group, the Commonwealth Minutemen. The Minutemen began as protectors of the people. Inspired by the militias of the American Revolution, they promised to defend any settlement that needed help. At first, they grew strong. Settlers called them for aid and they always answered. But over time, things changed. Corruption, infighting, betrayal. The Minutemen collapsed, leaving only scraps of their legacy. Now Preston and a handful of refugees are all that remain. He still holds to the dream that the Minutemen can rise again and that communities can stand united. In Concord, we choose whether to help him. A small moment, but one that sets in motion a greater story. The rebirth of the Minutemen, or their final fall into history. Concord introduces us to one faction, but Fallout 4 is defined by 4 great powers, each pulling the Commonwealth in a different direction. The Minutemen. As we've seen, they are defenders of the people. If restored, they could bring unity to the wasteland. But they lack strength, and their survival depends on us. The Brotherhood of Steel. Born from soldiers and scientists after the bombs fell. They believe technology is both humanity's salvation and its curse. They hoard advanced weapons, fearing that ordinary people cannot be trusted with them. In Fallout 4, they return to the Commonwealth in great airships, armored and ready for war. The Railroad. Hidden in shadows, this group fights not for humans, but for synths, artificial beings created by the Institute. To the Railroad, synths deserve freedom, rights, and lives of their own. Many see them as radicals, but to synths, they are liberators. The Institute, the most mysterious and the most feared. Hidden beneath the earth, the Institute creates synths and manipulates the surface world from the shadows. Some call them monsters, others see them as humanity's only hope. But one thing is certain, they are powerful, and they shape much of what happens in the Commonwealth. These 4 groups are not just armies, they are philosophies. The Minutemen ask, can people govern themselves, united by trust and protection? The Brotherhood asks, can humanity survive if it clings to dangerous technology? The Railroad asks, what does it mean to be alive if even machines can feel? And the Institute asks, should progress be forced upon the world no matter the cost? In Fallout 4, we do not simply fight. We choose who we believe in, and that choice shapes the future. The path to Diamond City is long and filled with dangers. Raiders camp in broken highways, feral ghouls crawl from shadows, and the ruins echo with silence. But in the quiet moments, listen closely. The world tells its story. Skeletons in diners, long empty lunchboxes, terminals with final diary entries. Fallout's world is not just about war, it's about absence. What is gone, what is left behind. And as we approach Diamond City, we hear of people disappearing. Neighbors, friends, taken without warning. Who is responsible? The whispers all point underground, to the Institute. At last, we see the stadium walls. Diamond City is unique, a fragment of civilization clinging to life. Inside, merchants sell food, weapons, and relics. Children play. Reporters chase rumors. But fear lingers here. The Institute is a ghost story to the people. They believe it sends synths, human-like machines, to replace them. Some say your neighbor might not be your neighbor at all. They might be a copy. Trust is thin. Paranoia is thick. In Diamond City, everyone looks over their shoulder. Synths, short for synthetics, are artificial humans created by the Institute. Early models were crude, metal frames, blank faces, unmistakably robotic. But later generations, the Gen 3 synths, are almost indistinguishable from humans. Flesh, blood, memories. Many do not even realize they are synthetic. This is the heart of Fallout 4's great question. If a machine can think, feel, suffer, and dream, are they not alive? Some say synths are tools, dangerous weapons. Others say they are people with souls of their own. The Commonwealth tears itself apart over this question. In the shadows, another faction moves quietly. The Railroad. Named after the old underground railroad that freed slaves, this group rescues synths from the Institute and helps them find freedom. To the Railroad, synths are not machines. They are a new people, oppressed and hunted. Their work is dangerous. Many see them as radicals, traitors even. But to the synths, they are liberators. In Fallout 4, we will encounter them in secret tunnels, safe houses, whispers in the dark. They live as outlaws, but their cause is built on compassion. Their leader, Desdemona, believes that the future may belong not to humans alone, but to synths as well. Imagine living here, in the Commonwealth. Your neighbor is kind, your friend is loyal. And then, one day, you hear a rumor. They were not human at all. They were a synth, built in a lab, perhaps with false memories. Would that change how you feel about them? Would their laughter, their kindness, their friendship become meaningless? Or would it still be real because it was shared, lived, and true? Fallout asks us to sit with this unease, to wonder, what does it mean to be human? Diamond City shines like a jewel in the wasteland, but its glow is shadowed by fear. China was the great rival of the United States. In Fallout's history, the two superpowers fought bitterly for the world's last oil reserves. The war in Alaska was the breaking point. In 2066, China invaded Alaska to secure resources. The United States fought back, driving them out with advanced power armor and devastating weapons. By 2077, both nations were exhausted, clinging to their arsenals. When the bombs finally fell, China was struck as hard as the US cities erased, landscapes poisoned. Yet, whispers remain. Chinese subs were rumored to prowl the Pacific for decades after the war. Some say remnants of the People's Liberation Army still survive, hidden in bunkers or submarines. But without vaults, without shelters like Vault Tech, how many truly endured? Perhaps only scattered pockets of soldiers, adrift in a dead world. Europe's fate is even more mysterious. The Fallout timeline tells us that before the Great War, Europe descended into chaos. Energy crises led to civil wars. Borders shifted. The European Commonwealth fractured under the pressure of famine and fuel shortages. By 2077, Europe was a shadow of its former self. When the bombs fell, it is likely that what remained of Europe was devastated completely. There are no known vaults in Europe, no vault tech protection. If survivors remained, they lived in bunkers, military bases, or underground shelters of their own making. The railroad fights from the darkness, risking all for freedom. And the Institute waits, unseen, pulling strings beneath our feet. For now, we rest in the green jewel. The lights flicker, the market hums, and beyond the walls, the wasteland sleeps. Thank you for wandering with me tonight. In our next journey, we'll descend deeper into the mystery of the Institute and uncover the truth behind the soul survivor's search for Sean. Sleep well, wanderer, and remember, war never changes.